Welcome to National Discourse.
Current affairs.
We must not extricate anybody from corruption. If any one of them is found wanting, the due course and the law must take its course.
Nation building.
Administration is slightly different from the last one in the fight against corruption.
We need to really task our leaders, who are the religious leaders, from the emir, from the bishops, from whoever they can.
Some of our village markets, there are people, they call them in Hausa yang nakama. They are like abiru in the markets. Whatever anything is not useful to you is not important to you.
Politics.
What happened in Benue might be political. It still has another tone, not political, dated way back. If you follow history.
It's interactive.
Not part of Nigeria.
Okay.
And it will not be good for us.
When they gather their people, they tell them, these Hausa people are your enemies. When Hausas gather together, they tell them, these Igbo people are your enemies. When the Yoruba people gather together, they say the same thing.
Who are we? We are just from the background, and today we are here in TSTV, and that is why we must propagate our own.
National Discourse. Weekdays on NCTV.
Hello, good morning and welcome to National Discourse. Of course, a very beautiful episode today. Of course, it's a bright new day and a Monday morning, and the politics is already heated up with a lot of things going on, beginning from Friday last week. Now, we are going to be looking at the state of the nation and the way forward. I still remain Uche Uduma. I have a guest with me, and we'll go for a short break and come back. I'll introduce my guest with me and tell you why he's an expert to discuss this topic. Please stay with us. Welcome to National Discourse.
Current affairs.
We must not extricate anybody from corruption. If any one of them is found wanting, the due course and the law must take its course.
Nation building.
Administration is slightly different from the last one in the fight against corruption.
We need to really task our leaders, who are the religious leaders, from the emir, from the bishops, from whoever they can.
Some of our village markets, there are people, they call them in Hausa yang nakama. They are like abiru in the markets. Whatever anything is not useful to you is not important to you.
Politics.
What happened in Benue might be political. It still has another tone, not political, dated way back. If you follow history.
It's interactive.
Not part of Nigeria.
Okay.
And it will not be good for us.
When they gather their people, they tell them, these Hausa people are your enemies. When Hausas gather together, they tell them, these Igbo people are your enemies. When the Yoruba people gather together, they say the same thing.
Who are we? We are just from the background, and today we are here in TSTV, and that is why we must propagate our own.
National Discourse. Weekdays on NCTV.
All right, we're glad to have you back on National Discourse. I have with me Chief Jasper Johnson, the South Zone team leader of the Article team. I have him in the studio with me this morning. He's going to do justice to the topic we have at hand. Good morning to you, sir.
Thank you.
And welcome to National Discourse.
Good morning to Nigerian viewers.
Yes, sir. Now, we said we are looking at the topic, the state of the nation. And like I said in my introductory statement, we know that right now, the environment, I used the polity the last time. Yeah, the atmosphere is a bit heated up based on what has been happening, especially from Friday. And we know that from Friday, the 25th of January, the President Muhammadu Buhari suspended the Chief Justice of Nigeria. Let us take it off from there. Now, what is your take on this before moving to other things that have been happening?
Well, it's as unfortunate as it sounds. It's so sad that a nation as big as Nigeria in Africa is being dealt this way politically. First and foremost, I'd like to apologize to Nigerians.
Do you owe Nigeria any apology?
For being part of the election of President Muhammadu Buhari.
Okay, you actually do.
In 2015. Myself and my organization, Arise Nigeria, participated fully in the election and, of course, the campaign process.
Okay, now pause here. You will continue with that. Could you just introduce yourself properly? Like,
yes, my name is
who you are.
My name is Jasper Johnson. I'm the founder and national president of Arise Nigeria. And of course, given the season we are and the kind of attention that we need to pay to certain issues, I was appointed the zonal, South zonal team leader of the Atiku team.
Okay, and thus you participated actively in 2015 election.
In 2015.
I have to take you back to introducing yourself properly so that we can understand where you're coming from.
Yes.
In your apology.
Yes.
Okay.
We participated fully because somewhere along the line, we felt the way Nigeria was going wasn't good enough for some of us, so we needed a change.
And the change you got?
And we thought, we were brainwashed to believe that President Muhammad Buhari was coming to bring solutions. We didn't know, myself and few thousands of Nigerians who are today crying for being part of this evil against this nation. So I really have to tender my apologies to Nigerians and promising that I and my organization can never and will never be part of this kind of failure again.
Now, before we actually go into the CJN saga, the elections are fast approaching, and like what you said now, you participated, or you were once, you were part of the team that campaigned for Buhari in 2015.
Yes.
Now, on whose side are you right now? Because you have a lot of political parties on ground contesting for the same post.
Yes, PDP has repented. They've been able to turn a new leaf. Given some of the programs they were able to carry out in the last few months, particularly the convention in Port Harcourt. I was there live, and I wanted to see how that could be managed, but I was very, very delighted that that process was very transparent and credible. And of course, the man that emerged, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, of course, is the choice of Nigerians. So we are back again to PDP, and we are working very seriously to ensure that the people's choice becomes the president in 2019.
Would you see yourself and your entire team as being politically stable? Because we are talking about 2015, and we have this is roughly 4 years now, and you've already switched to PDP. Now you have told us the reason you think, or actually you've seen the changes in PDP. Now, would you say you are politically stable?
Yes, yes. Politics is dynamic, and democracy is even a more dynamic atmosphere. From the inception, I founded Arise Nigeria in 2007 when Yaradua, the late Yaradua and Jonathan were contesting. And in my press conference of 10th of April 2010, I told the world that I'm going to support democracy first before I support candidates. So I was supporting Dr. Goodluck Jonathan then because of what we felt he was coming to do.
Okay.
And so somewhere along the line, we were no longer comfortable with the way things were going because we are true Democrats. We are a pro-democracy group. Okay, so we're not comfortable with the way things were going. So we felt somebody else should come and see how he can, right the wrongs. But that was the biggest mistake we've made in our lives, I'm telling you. So it's not as if we're going to be jumping from one party to the other. Now that PDP...
Because it's very pertinent
to
state
yeah. Now that PDP has got their ass together and we're working with them. And of course, I made mention of the convention in Port Harcourt. It was very transparent. I was there from morning till the next day, and we ensured that the right thing was done. And that is why we are part and parcel of this PDP crusade in order to rescue this nation from the level of precipice we're moving into.
All right, let's go into...
Sadly.
Don't worry, you will have the time to talk about the whole of that, and of course, give us a sharp contrast with what has happened in the last 4 years.
I don't have to. I wouldn't like to go emotional, but I'm just trying very hard to control myself. I'm telling you.
Very important.
Yeah.
All right. Looking at the state of the nation right now, from what happened on Friday, what is your take on it?
It's a bundle of illegality, and it's not going to stand.
Why do you say that?
Yeah, because I'm not a lawyer, but I've heard from lawyers that said that the due process was not followed.
But we've seen big lawyers like Falana coming out to speak up.
I don't know from what standpoint he's talking at.
His standpoint, okay, let me just paraphrase. He is just saying that for the fact that the CJN actually confessed, all right, it was a confessional statement, no matter how we are going to look at it. It came out from him that yes, that he forgot to declare all the assets. It actually ultraviolates the law and all that.
Okay.
Now, this is his own standpoint. So I need to hear your own standpoint. Because yes, you've heard from some lawyers, and we still have some that are supporting massively what the actions the president have taken on Friday. So what is your own standpoint, and where actually are you coming from?
Yes, like I said, I'm not a lawyer, but I've heard from some good lawyers who said that the due process of the law was not followed, and that is my own concern. I'm not interested whether he has committed crime or not. And of course, you know that you are going to be innocent until you're proven guilty by a competent court of jurisdiction. So from what I've heard, they said due process was not followed, and therefore it's not going to stand. You should allow that is why the courts, that's why the law is there. When people commit crime, you know, they are called suspects, isn't it? And then until they are properly convicted. And I didn't say that with Onogen. The only sin Onogen has committed is because he's not from the Fulani House of tribe.
That's what you think?
Yes, that is what is happening. That is what is happening. The South Side is only good in producing the wealth of the nation, but we are not good in any other thing. And that is sad enough, and it's completely unacceptable. We're not going to take it.
Now, who appointed Onogen?
Yes, Onoge was appointed
by who?
By the president.
Okay.
But with the recommendation of the NJC
yes,
and all that. So they also said that there should be a procedure for his removal or even suspension.
So why do you think there's this sudden upsurge?
No, but the timing, not only is the timing wrong, the mindset, you know, the body language for his suspension
you think it has any connection to the forthcoming election?
Of course, that is what it is. We've seen the past 3 years, the level of dictatorship. We've seen the kind of harm unleashed on this nation by very few people. On a nation we fought and got independence, great men, the Sikh of Africa, Awolowo, the Saduana, they all fought and got independence. And a couple of years later, some group of persons want to mess things up like this. It's so sad. It's so sad. So the last straw that I've just broken the camel's back is the suspension of Onoge, and it's not going to stand. I want to assure you, it's not going to stand.
What do you think can be done from now
to
the time? Because there's already a replacement.
Yes, you see, I have a friend, Martin Luther King Jr., who is my friend. He said that the boil must be opened for its ugliness to come out, and the wound receives healing from the fresh air. It's high time we begin to speak.
Don't you think it's too late?
No, it cannot be too late to say something.
The election is just, I think we have less than
even though we have a date to the election, this is high time. We need to stand up and fight for our right. Freedom is not given. We must demand freedom.
Now, you said, according to your opinion or what you've said here, you said there is this level of dictatorship that have taken place or that have been happening for over 3 years. Now, if Nigeria did not speak up, or people like you didn't speak up for the period of 3 years, what makes you think it's going to be effective in
some of us have been speaking. I've been in several fora where I discussed the eternal issues of our democracy and the way things were happening.
We are talking about the practical aspect of the speaker. You know, when some policies are made, especially, it remains theoretical until it's been implemented. Now, we have not seen implementation of certain speak up that some persons have been doing. Now, that is the basis of my argument. I'm saying, now, if we've had this same person being on seat and some persons think he's not doing or he's doing ultraviolence the law, but he has been there for over 3 years plus. Now, what makes us think as a nation something can be done within 20 days?
A lot can be done in 20 days. You know, probably we've been very few of us talking in the past.
Okay,
from what has happened,
you've gathered some
from what has happened the last few days, I think more Nigerians are out now speaking, because that is the only way our democracy can thrive. People need to begin to ventilate, positive grievances, positive kind of violence in a way of speaking out, and then, people have to be in the street. People have to say no to some of these obnoxious tendencies of the Buhari government. But of course, that's the beauty of democracy. It allows us to really air our views, and say things. You know, democracy belongs to the people. We elected these people into power. You know, there's a social contract between the people and the government. So on their own part.
And has that really been workable in
No,
Nigeria?
it's not. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I said the nation, there's this dark cloud hanging on our democracy right now. So we have to salvage it. And the best way we can do that is for people from all walks of life, irrespective of your political affiliation, to really come out and speak against this evil that is about to envelop our land. Because if we allow it to stand, that would be the end of our democracy. Because democracy thrives with law. Ours is constitutional democracy. So there are very important political situations, legal situations, and frameworks that must be followed. I mean seriously.
Now, I would want to ask a question. It might be in your purview to answer it. All right? Since, yes, I know you're not a lawyer, but I'm sure you, according to what you said, you've spoken to so many people, you know, as regards to what happened on Friday. Now, if the action of Mr. President is wrong, from all we've said, why did the person appointed take up the appointment? We are talking about law here. And if you're saying he also violates the law, why did we have another lawyer who knows the law take up the appointment?
Like what I read in the papers, they said his wife is also contesting under the APC. So he has every reason to support what is happening. But deep inside of him, he's aware he's doing the wrong thing. And that is why I'm saying that it's not going to stand. And of course, a lot of people do the wrong thing. But the good people cannot just stand and watch when these few people try to spoil what everybody has labored so hard to build. You know, so people are there to commit crime. People are there to take the laws into their hands. The larger other people are ready also to do the right thing. And that is the beauty of the society.
All right, now let's move away from that. We've spoken on that. Now let's look at the economy right now, because it's still part of the state of the nation. Now the economy, according to some persons, is actually going down and gradually moving into comatose the way it is right now, because so many things are going up, and some things that have gone up have refused to come down. I'm talking about moving into the market. You are looking at essential commodities. It is mostly not affordable for the common Nigerian. Now, what is the way forward from here?
Yes, everybody is aware that this economy is on life support. It's on the verge of total collapse. People are losing their job every day. As we speak here now, somebody has lost his job. Mm-hmm. That is what is happening. That is one that, you know, it's a superstructure.
How do you determine that? Because you are here.
No, I'm telling you, because the economy is not working.
Okay.
The economy is not working. People are not investing. You know, people don't have confidence anymore in the economy. You only invest when there is confidence, when there are laws that people should obey. You know, because in every transaction, even in an economy, it's not a one-man thing. People come together to build the economy. As I speak, people, the investors, you know, even foreign direct investment is so low, and then the production capacity of the country, of course, that one has even diminished to a level where it is so sad. So the economy, as I speak, is not working because nothing is happening. Because some wave, you know, some assurances are supposed to come from the political angle, but that is not happening. Instead, the wrong things are being done just for mere election, just for a position that the highest you can last as a president is 8 years. I've seen presidents in this nation, they are no longer presidents. You know, so I wonder why we should tear ourselves down because few persons want to go back to power, want to remain in power, whether anybody likes it or not. In a Federal Republic of Nigeria, nah, it's not going to happen.
All right, now looking at APC and PDP, we know it's not on paper because we have a lot of political parties coming on. Now, still looking at the state of the nation, we saw Dr. Obieze-Kwesili, you know, step down last week, you know, from the presidential race, and this is someone that have participated even in the debate, and of course have, you know, given hope to some people, especially the women's sector, you know, to know that okay, we can do certain things in this country. It's not like there was a law that barred women from participating, but at least she has spoken up and she has actually came to the forefront. But we saw that hope, you know, crashing down last week when she stepped down, because of issues and all that. Some of his group, of our group members, said they want to support Buhari and all that. Now, my question is, apart from APC and PDP, of which the party actually supporting right now, what happens to the other parties, the other parties that we have their candidature? What happens to those people? Are we saying they're not competent enough to lead Nigeria?
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Because your focus now is on.
No, I've watched debates and interviews from some of the candidates, highly intelligent people, highly intelligent people, young men like Duru Toye, and very intelligent people. But it's not all about. It doesn't stop there. In the politics, you need to have structures, and you need to have state structures. You need to have local government structures, ward structures, and of course, unit structures. Unfortunately, some of these candidates do not have structures. So how are you going to, how would the mere fact that you're a candidate of a political party make you win elections? This is not coming to play to the gallery, and it's not all about speaking, quoting theories and all that. There has to be practical structures on the ground to enable you to win election. These guys don't have it. So that is why I don't really take them serious enough. Yeah, I've watched their interviews, but I don't really take them serious because they know there is a missing link and they don't want to do anything about it. But the PDP and the APC, they have structures on ground. They have manpower to do this job. And they have what it takes to really go out for election and win votes. And that is why for me I'm supporting PDP because, given what I've seen that they're doing, what they've done in the past, yeah, I'm not saying we're there yet, but PDP, was able to put certain structures in place, formulate policies and implement policies that, to some extent, help us grow as a nation. So, I feel that, given their experience and their exposure, the past 16 years, if they come back now, they're going to do the right thing, because they knew that Nigerians are ready to vote them out.
All right, now the state of the nation, we've talked about probably judicial angle. We just touched it because you're not a lawyer, so there's an extent at which you can go. And then the economy. Now, your own view about the economy right now. Now, what is the way forward right now?
Yeah, the way forward is that there has to be smooth transition. This election has to be free and fair and credible. It has to be free and fair because democracy is not democracy until there are periodic elections.
Sure.
Yeah, so that elections, 4 years, and they have given you the mandate to serve them, and they watch what you're doing.
No.
Unfortunately, APC started with propaganda, and they're ending with propaganda. Propaganda. All the way. I haven't seen such group of persons before. Yeah, you have inherited some problems. Yes, you inherit liabilities and assets. You move on and profile solutions and get the system working. They didn't do that. They kept blaming Jonathan. They kept blaming PDP. It was so sad. As if they are empty heads. It was so sad. People were watching. Just as Nigerians, we are so docile. Otherwise, I mean, from the second year, we should have been saying no to this kind of rottenness we're saying. But like Nigerians, we suffer and smile, so we kept on going. As I speak to you now, some people are still campaigning for that kind of party, inefficient in everything, except propaganda. They are the best in the world when it comes to propaganda. They are the best. Probably it was that same propaganda they used to win election in 2015. But
which we were part of.
Yes, which I was part of. Mm-hmm. Now, they should have dropped the propaganda and begin to do the right thing. Nigeria is a blessed nation. I mean, I wonder how people that govern here cannot make progress. It's unfortunate.
And you are seriously talking about propaganda. Now, let me get the direction where you're coming from. Because when this government came into power, there were some cardinal points that they raised. Indices which they were going to work on. Yes. And they talked about the economy. It was a very strong point. Yes. And corruption. Yeah, very strong point. And then security. Yeah. Good. Now you have looked at the economy. Can we look at the fight against corruption?
That one is laughable. That one is laughable. Because all the corrupt people that were in PDP are living in APC now.
So would you say that PDP is sanctified?
Yes, to a large extent, yes. Because
So we don't have.
I saw people that ruled for 8 years as governors of PDP saying that that PDP was corrupt. A man who stand in his state, he ruled for 8 years and said, we want to remove PDP because of corruption. And he is corruption personified. So shameless. So they are not fighting corruption. The former SGF is there walking the street. Has he been prosecuted? There are a lot of allegations. So many things are happening in this system.
Yes, but there still remain allegations.
Yeah, but they should take them to court, and court should.
Whose responsibility is it to do that?
No, but listen. If I think from what is happening, people have been on. They look at the body language of the president. The other day, Oshomolo said, "If you come to APC, your sins are forgiven." He just said it in the open, but everybody in Nigeria is aware that if you are corrupt, you've been indicted for corruption, but if you go over to APC, you're no longer corrupt. Tell me in APC who is not corrupt there.
I would like to hear that from you.
Yeah, a lot of them are corrupt. A lot of them have cases in court. A lot of them have cases in court. I don't want to mention their name, but Nigerians know them.
But the cases
now they wear the garb of APC and run around as people that are not corrupt. But how do you say this to Nigerians when they know that you are corruption personified? So the fight for corruption, I think, is selective. Mr. President is not fighting corruption.
That is your opinion.
Yes, he's perceived the enemies. He's fighting the Nigerian people. Because as he's fighting corruption, people are hungry. People are committing suicide. I think the corruption is against those people that are dying out of hunger.
Okay, now
people can afford medical treatment anymore.
Okay.
The money is not there to even buy drugs. There are people who are diabetic, who are hypertensive. They can't get drugs anymore because you have to buy those drugs with money.
Okay.
I think those are the people they are fighting the corruption for.
All right, but this government has actually, come up to tell us that they've recovered some looted phones.
And they're still borrowing.
They
want to go to India now and borrow. These guys are borrowing from, pretty soon they'll go to Brazil. They'll go to Honduras. They'll go to Venezuela and borrow.
But I thought we have a process before a government wakes up and wants to go lend money from somewhere. I thought we are supposed to have some signatories, endorse this, starting from the Senate and all that. So is it just the executive that is carrying out these things? That is what happened, because I know the Senate right now is headed by PDP, which is your party. So can they just wake up and decide to go borrow money from somewhere or source of funds without having the approval of the Senate?
That is a problem. That is what we are crying for right now. That is what we are crying for. That is what brought about the suspension of Onegan, because they've been doing things without recourse to due process of the law, and that is where we are right now. As if democracy is just all about the executive. There are three arms of government. Three arms of government. There are separation of powers. There are checks and balances. Because in democracy, of course, in politics, they say power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. That is why the framers of this model of government have decided to put the executive, the legislature, and of course the judiciary, so that they'll be able to be checked on themselves. But that is not happening in this country. That is not happening.
Now, when a government becomes unpopular, forget about the election. Like what you said these things have been happening over 3 years.
Yes,
now.
yes, consistently.
We are very close to 4 years.
Consistency.
Good. Now, when such things starts happening or happens, right? In a democratic dispensation. Now, what is supposed to happen to make sure that such things don't happen again?
Yeah, that is why, like I said, the legislature was supposed to check the executives. There are so many measures they should take to be able to beat them back to line.
So why
that is not
done.
Not
seeing that?
Yeah, that is not done. I don't know what their problem is, but that is not done.
But we have the opposition, heading the Senate.
Yeah, you have the opposition, but the Nigerian factor. This morning I read the APC senators are saying nobody will be impeached. You know, it's about partisanship. The interest of this nation is not their problem. What is their concern is how they can continue in power even when the people are dying of hunger. That's our
please
problem.
hold on. We'll go for a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue with this discussion. Please stay with us.
Welcome to National Discourse.
Current affairs.
We must not extricate anybody from corruption. If any one of them is found wanting, the due course and the law must take its course.
Nation building.
Administration is slightly different from the last one in the fight against corruption.
We need to really task our leaders, who are the religious leaders, from the emir, from the bishops, from whoever they can.
Some of our village markets, there are people, they call them in Hausa yang nakama. They are like agbero in the markets. Whatever anything is not useful to you is not important to you.
Politics.
What happened in Benue might be political. It still has another tone, not political, dated way back. If you follow history.
It's interactive.
Not part of Nigeria.
Okay.
And it will not be good for us.
When they gather their people, they tell them, these Hausa people are your enemies. When Hausas gather together, they tell them, these Igbo people are your enemies. When the Yoruba people gather together, they say the same thing.
Who are we? We are just from the background, and today we are here in TSTV, and that is why we must propagate our own.
National Discourse, weekdays on NCTV.
Welcome to National Discourse.
Current affairs.
We must not extricate anybody from corruption. If any one of them is found wanting, the due course and the law must take its course.
Nation building.
Administration is slightly different from the last one in the fight against corruption.
We need to really task our leaders, who are the religious leaders, from the emir, from the bishops, from whoever they can.
Some of our village markets, there are people, they call them in Hausa yang nakama. They are like agbero in the markets. Whatever anything is not useful to you is not important to you.
Politics.
What happened in Benue might be political. It still has another tone, not political, dated way back. If you follow history.
It's interactive.
Not part of Nigeria.
Okay.
And it will not be good for us.
When they gather their people, they tell them, these Hausa people are your enemies. When Hausas gather together, they tell them, these Igbo people are your enemies. When the Yoruba people gather together, they say the same thing.
Who are we? We are just from the background, and today we are here in TSTV, and that is why we must propagate our own.
National Discourse, weekdays on NCTV.
Welcome to National Discourse.
Current affairs.
We must not extricate anybody from corruption. If any one of them is found wanting, the due course and the law must take its course.
Nation building.
Administration is slightly different from the last one in the fight against corruption.
We need to really task our leaders, who are the religious leaders, from the emir, from the bishops, from whoever they can.
Some of our village markets, there are people, they call them in Hausa yang nakama. They are like agbero in the markets. Whatever anything is not useful to you is not important to you.
Politics.
What happened in Benue might be political. It still has another tone, not political, dated way back. If you follow history.
It's interactive.
Not part of Nigeria.
Okay.
And it will not be good for us.
When they gather their people, they tell them, these Hausa people are your enemies. When Hausas gather together, they tell them, these Igbo people are your enemies. When the Yoruba people gather together, they say the same thing.
Who are we? We are just from the background, and today we are here in TSTV, and that is why we must propagate our own.
National Discourse, weekdays on NCTV.
All right, glad to have you back from that short break. It was necessary to go for the break. I'm still in the studio with the article team leader for South Zone, for the forthcoming election. Stay with you, Mr. Jasper. Sorry, Chief Jasper Johnson.
Yeah,
Hope I've not committed any offense.
No, anything.
All right. Now, we're still looking at what the incumbent government promised, and we've looked at the economy, and we've looked at fight against corruption, and want to look at security. Do you think security-wise we are ready for the election? Not necessarily going deep, whether they've already solved the problem or not. Do you think we are ready security-wise
No, we're not
to go for the
ready.
election?
Frankly, they've not solved any security problem in this country. As a matter of fact, it's getting worse.
All right, please, probably we can just pick a call. Hello? Good morning to you. Your name and where you're calling from, please. Sorry? Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah, I want to talk about the CJN issue.
Okay.
And I feel that we have a rule of law in this country.
Okay.
And the president said that he's fighting through the rule of law.
Okay.
And I believe that any reasonable person must follow due process.
Go ahead.
I think the president is the right track because they turned everything to the APC. We need to face the reality.
Okay.
The president is on the ground. If the president is not know what he's doing. I'm talking about Buhari. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your short and concise contribution, and of course this reserves your own personal opinion. Thank you very much there. All right, sir.
Yes.
Are we security? Are we stable security-wise to go for this election?
It's a problem. The security situation is worse right now. Now we have banditry in Zamfara and Sokoto. We have killings in Jos, in Benue, and some area of Nasarawa State.
I think we just had the Fulani herdsmen strike again.
So where is the security he promised us in 2015?
So should elections
none
be
of
shifted?
none of the Fulani herdsmen has been even arrested. None. Is that how you fight security?
Okay, I think I have another call for you.
It's a problem here.
Hello, good morning to you. Your name and where you're calling from? All right, please go ahead. We lost the call.
Sorry.
Okay, so we are saying, do we have what it takes to go out and vote? I think I should just rephrase that.
Yeah, we can go and vote, even though we have these issues. That is why we are.
Are we safe to go out?
Yeah,
and
we can
vote?
go out and vote. Yeah,
Okay.
we can go out and vote. We need to vote out this government. They are incompetent, and they are
That is your
callous.
opinion?
Yeah, and they are callous.
All right.
They are not interested in the general well-being of Nigerians. They are not interested. They are only interested in amassing power. And that is why the whole thing is this way. So Nigerians need to arise now and salvage this nation. We need to rescue this nation. If we fail to rescue this nation at this point in time, sorry.
All right,
It's
now,
gonna be sad.
sorry. You haven't looked at what the operations of this government have been, and you have given your own score. Now, what is the way forward from here? Because you have elections in less than 20 days coming. We're talking about February 16th, they're very close to us. Now, what is the way forward? Where are we going to move on from here? Because we're still talking about Nigeria as a nation. And I keep saying, no matter how you travel or how far you travel, the truth is, this is your fatherland. No matter how you send your kids out and all that, you must come back and face the reality of ground.
Of course.
Now, what is the way forward from your own end as someone that leads a team that speaks for democracy?
Yes, freedom is not given by the oppressor. Freedom must be demanded.
Okay.
And we're going to demand our freedom come February. It's not going to be a one-man business. All Nigerians must come out and vote out this government. Because, of course, we have seen what they've been doing the past 3 years or so. No solutions. It's been blame game. I can call this blame war. Nothing reasonable is happening. They play to the gallery. They do so many funny things. Not serious. except Mr. Lai Mohammed, when he wants to chunk out propaganda. That is when you see their seriousness. Apart from that, nothing is on table. Nothing is happening. You know. So the way forward is that come this February, Nigerians must come out to vote out this government. Because the man that is coming to take over is a man that has been tested.
Okay.
He's a man that has capacity.
Okay.
One thing is to have patriotism. You can have zeal.
All right, please hold on there. Hello, good morning to you. Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from, please.
Yeah, my name is Ayo from Lagos.
All right, go ahead. What is your contribution?
Yeah, I want to talk about the way forward in Nigeria.
All right, go ahead.
What I noticed that I think that Mr. President is a former head of state.
Okay.
In fact, Nigeria with all capacity with best to my knowledge. The one with most of Nigerian agents today. And I think should learn. Now, I talked to a friend yesterday. That guy asked me that what is working in Nigeria today? I'm standing for meditation, 0. Health, 0. Security, 0. Economy, 0.
That's your own score?
So I want someone to convince me what is working right now in this country.
Certainly.
So this man is now packing himself again. I'm sorry for our generation. I'm so sorry for our generation. I'm so sorry.
You are part of that generation.
You have to join the crusade.
You are part of that generation.
Not all about that.
No.
No. I already said my opinion.
Okay.
I'm not part of you.
Where do you belong to?
I know where I belong to. Don't worry. If anybody starts buying today, next thing they will not say that. If anybody starts buying is not good today, next thing they say that that modern police is corrupt. It's all Jasuki money in his hand. It's all the state handing money in his hand. That's the government we should follow. The government they refuse to listen to the truth.
All right. Can I ask you this particular question? Can I ask you a question? All right. Do you have your PVC?
Very 100%. If I check this morning.
All right.
It's very intact. Very intact. If I ask my wife, I show me. We don't believe this situation. It's very intact.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
Now.
We are ready for this action.
All right, and that is your most powerful weapon you have in your hand, to decide who you want to vote for.
Good.
And then effect the change you want in Nigeria. Thank you very much for calling.
Thank you very much.
Do have a nice day.
Yeah.
All right.
Good. So I was saying that one thing is to be patriotic, another is to have capacity. You need to have capacity to be able to make impact. Unfortunately, this government do not have capacity. They don't have what it takes to bring about the change they preached in 2015. They don't have it. The railway was started by the good luck PDP administration.
And was not completed.
And was not completed. Yeah, like I said, government is a continuum.
Sure.
You inherit assets, you inherit liabilities. You move into action. For 6 months, we didn't have a minister. We didn't have an economic blueprint. We didn't have a roadmap.
Do you think that have affected us?
Yes, it has. Because I say, let me tell you, in the 21st century, governments, politics, you need to work with people. You need to begin to work with experts. Because a lot of things are contending and contradicting. There are a lot of infighting, even within the economy, within the politics, socio-cultural, a lot of fighting, a lot of crisis. So it takes such group of persons to be able to mediate and cause peace. There has to be peace even in the economy. So you bring in experts, people who know these things. You don't know it, fine. But if you have ability to go and bring people that know the job, then you have capacity. They can do the job for you.
Are you alleging the government has not been inclusive?
Of course, they have not been inclusive. Even people that worked for this government were not part of the government.
How do you mean by that?
There are people who worked very hard for this APC government.
To come into power?
Yeah, to come into power that are not with the government because they had a blueprint. They had vision for the system. But the system jettisoned them because they didn't want to work with that vision that is pro-Nigeria. This government wants to kill Nigerians. It wants to reduce Nigeria. Now, of course, now we are the world capital of poverty. The next time we are going to move to world capital of disintegration. Because poverty and lawlessness are twin brothers. When a man is hungry, he's angry. He can't think properly. So crime is inevitable. Lawlessness is inevitable. But when a system, a nation like this, I'm not talking about the oil resources. Instead of that to be a blessing to us, it's a curse. Because the other produce we're supposed to harness to move our nation forward economically are being abandoned.
Now, still speaking on the way forward.
Yeah, the way forward.
We are looking at the economy.
The way forward.
Okay.
Is to vote for Alhaji Atiku Abubakar.
That is your own opinion?
If Nigeria miss Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, if they miss him now, I'm telling you, we're going to cry had I known. Because one thing, he has shown capacity in business. He has shown capacity in politics, as well as public service. He's a man that is employing over 30,000 direct and indirect labor. He's a man that has a lot of international goodwill. If you see him on the billboard, he looks like the president himself.
Are you talking about a physical look now?
He has to have a physical look. You have to look like a president before you.
Are you alleging that our incumbent president doesn't have the physical look to be?
Yes, he doesn't have the physical look anymore.
But you vied for him and you voted.
Yes, you know, like I said.
Did his look change?
No, like I said, yeah, like I said, we felt certain things were. I'm a pro-democrat.
Okay.
I work for good governance, rule of law, and the deepening process of our democracy.
Does that start with a physical look?
No, what we saw, we were told, because we were quite younger when Buhari was head of state.
But we had history in place.
Yeah, we had history. But, you know, the war against indiscipline of that time and all that, so we said somebody has to come and clean the audience table. Somebody has to come and do the right thing. Because, of course, I wasn't happy the way Nigeria was going before 2015.
Okay.
So I said, I don't belong to nobody. I belong to one Nigeria. One Nigeria we can all be proud of. I've traveled far and wide. I've been to America, Europe. I've seen nations that are working, systems that are working. And when you come back home here, you have tears on your eye to see a blessed nation still groping in the dark. So, fine. Buhari have been tested. We have seen his capacity. We have seen his team. We have seen all of them. We say, no, sir, we don't want you anymore. We want somebody else. Let's test somebody else. Let's try another person. Like our father, Olusegun Obasanjo just said, Atiku is not Jesus Christ. He's not going to be Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But Atiku will come and put food on our table. He has the capacity to put food on our table. He has the capacity to take care of this insecurity. One of the root causes of the insecurity is hunger, poverty. When the mind is idle, he constructs and implements evil. If these people are engaged doing something, we can do quite a lot here. Jobs can be made available to our teeming youth here. You create an enabling environment for people to come do business. A lot of foreign investors are waiting for a new Nigeria. And we can't deprive our people of a new Nigeria because of the selfish interests of very few. We can't do that. Now, I want to assure Nigerians that there is hope. Sorrow may endure for the night, but joy cometh in the morning.
I hope it's not the same assurance to give Nigerians 215.
No.
Okay.
We had to test somebody else. And we have tested the person. will say, thank you, sir. You can go home. Let's test another person. That is why they said in democracy, periodic election is sacrosanct. If you have done well, allow the people to vote you in. If you have not also done well, allow the people to have a say through the ballot.
Now,
that is how we can deepen our democracy.
How prepared is your team?
Well, of course, we are very prepared. Of course, PDP, you know PDP,
this election goes smooth.
You know there is no party as nationalistic, as widespread like PDP. PDP is the only party. It's just that they went and pushed some of our structures. APC went and pushed and got some structures, but PDP is still on ground. And I'm not talking about even PDP. I'm talking about the candidate. The candidate Atiku Abubakar has something to offer this nation. He's very emotional about this nation because he has seen nations grow.
Okay.
With even lesser brains.
I once had a Dr. Ahmed. I know it's actually a past issue, but what you're saying, I say he's very emotional about the nation. Now, why did he decide to show up for the presidential debate and back out?
You've seen why he backed out. Obi Ezekwesili was not a presidential candidate in the first place. You see what happened? So are you saying that these are the people you would have debated with? The likes of Obi Ezekwesili?
And I will still ask you again. Now, would you go into the exam hall and then you decide not to write because
that wasn't an exam in that perspective.
No, I understand. I'm just using that to paint a scenario.
Okay, I don't see it as an exam. Okay. That was a debate.
Okay.
And debate is point counterpoint. And it was a presidential debate. So the incumbent should be there. Because you have to defend your policies. You have to defend your actions and inactions. And then, of course, Alhaji Abubakar would have seen a level playing field. But I knew that he wouldn't come because there was this other candidate, this other debate that was organized by NTR that I watched. I saw some ministers, they are holding their mouth. They were praying that the ground should open and they fall in. Mr. President was incoherent.
That is your opinion?
That wasn't my opinion. The whole world saw our president.
I'm saying...
People cried home.
While
people went home weeping.
What you're saying is your personal...
The largest nation in Africa. People went home weeping. Where we have thousands of professors. If you go to America, you go to Europe, you see our brothers and sisters doing very well, manning systems. And here, we are still struggling to answer a little question about the economy.
Okay.
About the policies you superintended over. It's so sad, my sister. It's so sad.
All right. I have a text message here. I am Sani from Castana State. And it says, yes, the government might not have done well, but they have done better than past governments, and they can still do better than even Atiku that is trying to come up.
What have they done? The day they were burying people in Benue, there was party in the villa. Is that what they have done well? When our soldiers were buried, the president couldn't even go there. At that point, at that same period in France, a policeman was killed. Macron was there. He showed compassion to a nation that have given you mandate. He showed some strength of purpose here. We don't have any other nation. The only nation we have is Nigeria. Show us some concern. Show us some love. We've not done anything wrong to be citizens of this country. We can't be ruled this way. People are killed at win at wit. Nobody is prosecuted. Nothing is happening. Everything is collapsing before our very eyes, and they say some of us should keep quiet.
All right, one more.
No, we're not going to become about it.
One more message for you before we round off. This is NK from Calabar. Been trying to call. Okay. What I have to say is that our president should be given another chance. I, particularly my family, we have moved up from where we were before to a better level, and this is courtesy of Mr. President. Even the sorry, NK, you don't use such words to describe whoever, no matter who the person is. So I'm just going to sieve your words out. Now, even Atiku Abubakar that is clamoring to come back to power, what does he think he has to offer? this is to you, so react to it so they can.
Well, you know, this is one country where people lie to themselves. I don't lie to myself. If we vote Atiku in February and he does not follow his blueprint, I will be the first to opt out. I don't follow politics for what I will get. I'm interested how we can build a nation we can be proud of.
So the democracy we have in Nigeria is interesting because some persons still feel that the incumbents have done a lot of good, while we still have other people feeling dissatisfied with what he's done. And this is the beauty of democracy.
That's true.
And then my question is, of course, the last question is, I hope we're ready to uphold that come February 16th this year.
Yes.
Having a smooth run of election?
Yes, like PDP is ready for election. You've seen how peaceful they are even in their rallies.
Okay.
Yeah, PDP are they are very peaceful people. They're
all right.
PDP is very peaceful.
Your last word to your viewers that are watching right now.
Yes.
Because you need to round up.
My last word for Nigerians is that we can no longer sit on the fence. We can no longer go chase rat and then burn down the houses. Things must be done properly. If anybody has committed any crime, that person should be punished, but it has to be done through the due process of the law. Another one is I'm calling on Nigerians. This is the last time we have to come and rescue our nation. On February, everybody should come out and vote. But vote for Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. He has what it takes to turn around things. Thank you very much, Nigerians.
All right, this is a wrap-up on National Discuss today. We've had APC come here to say their mind, and of course we still have people calling or having a text message saying their mind when it has to do with our party. And like I said, this is the beauty of democracy, and we are actually at that verge of making another decision come February 16th. But the most important question is, do you have your PVC in your hand, your power to effect any change you want in Nigeria? And of course we are all clamoring for a better Nigeria, so we are looking for a positive change. Now, nobody will convince you to vote for whoever. It is a matter of choice between you and yourself. So first thing, get your PVC and get ready. Do your background check on the presidential candidate you have, and of course for other positions that people are vying for. So when you do that, you'll be able to make a choice at the polling unit. Don't sit back at home and expect change to happen overnight. You have to go out there. The power is in your hand to effect any change you want in Nigeria. All we want is a better Nigeria. It is Uche Uduma signing out on National Discourse. Thank you for watching. All right, thank you very much.
Welcome to National Discourse.
Current affairs.
We must not extricate anybody from corruption. If any one of them is found wanting, the due course and the law must take its course.
Nation building.
Administration is slightly different from the last one in the fight against corruption.
We need to really task our leaders, who are the religious leaders, from the emir, from the bishops, from whoever they can.
Some of our village markets, there are people, they call them in Hausa young nakama. They are like agbero in the markets. Whatever anything is not useful to you is not important to you.
Politics.
What happened in Benue might be political. It still has another tone, not political, dated way back. If you follow history.
It's interactive.
Not part of Nigeria.
Okay.
And it will not be good for us.
When they gather their people, they tell them, these Hausa people are your enemies. When the Hausas gather together, they tell them, these Igbo people are your enemies. When the Yoruba people gather together, they say the same thing.
Who are we? We are just from the background, and today we are here in TSTV, and that is why we must propagate our own.
National Discourse, weekdays on NCTV.